I think he's gonna not see it. Oh, he might see it now. No, he's not gonna see it. Oh, he changed location. Yeah, he did.
Oh, very nice of him there by Hasu. So good foresight there to be able to actually know exactly where those pounds are going to go down. But for now, style.
They had this really sick game on Terminus, where I think it was 1-1 score.
Dual site as well, actually.
Terminus was the last, and Hawk had so much Colossus. Hasselhoff had less, but he had a lot of Zealots, and he crunched and sandwiched Hack's army from behind, moving all those Zealots under the Colossus. And I still remember he had a post-game interview, and he said, yeah, I think I won because I got all my Zealots under the Colossus. He also had really good upgrades.
Yeah, and that's something we talk about a lot in PvP just in general. The fact that just because someone has more Colossus, depending on if you're actually messing with the mechanics of those Colossus, like warping in from sides and things like that, you can actually mess with it pretty well. I mean, it sometimes is very, very micro-intensive, very kind of timing intensive as well in terms of getting that proper engagement from each side and timing it out perfectly.
Yeah, and if you time it out wrong, it's like, here's half of my army, and there's the other half.
It doesn't really look too elegant, is the way I'm going to put it. But for now, we have both players just transitioning into the standard Colossus craziness. The second Robo is already out for Hasu here. Do we have the second Robo out for Socket? We do, indeed. So
it seems like Hasu was a little bit faster with everything in this game, except Blink. He was faster with his expansion, faster with the Robo, faster with the choice to go for a Robo Bay and Forge, but Socket has triple Immortals here.
This is what I was going to say as well.
Is this significant, James?
I think so. I think so. Having that triple immortal not only allows you to be able to... Whoa, wait a minute. I will be blinking forward
We
here.
almost lost a unit here.
Yeah, almost.
We're good, though. We're good.
But yeah, having that immortal just kind of suppressing there to be able to back those Colossus up, very, very useful indeed. It means that, if Blink Stalkers actually want to try and cast Colossus off guard, for example, blink in and
take one down, it's the Immortals who will really be showing their true colors.
Very, very true.
Plus, you've always got like that situation whereby most of the units have been killed off by Colossus, because, that's what Colossus do best. And then the Immortals are still there. And when it's just Colossi versus Colossi, the Immortals suddenly take a new role where they just completely suddenly dominate the fight. It's not the early fight where the Immortals are significant. It's because they are immortal and they don't die that they suddenly they survive there and they start hitting the Colossus. And for that, I think Sokka has the better army composition right now.
Oh, and it looks like he's actually going to force the engagement here. Guardian Shields go up for both players. Force Shields go down as well. As right now, Sokka, I can't even tell what the hell's going on.
Positioning was better initially for Hasu, but now there's only Stalkers and Colossi left, and the Immortals are doing what they're supposed to do. They're hitting those Stalkers hard. Bigger army for Hasu up. Now warping in more Zealots, but those Immortals, they're doing a good job. They're driving away the Stalkers and the Colossus.
Yeah, they did. He actually moved those forwards intensely to make sure that those Colossus could have no more damage there. And right now, Hasu actually might be able to warp up onto this high ground with this Observer in the base of Sokka. If so, that would be a pretty darn cool move. But at the same time, we have plenty more Colossus on the way. Both players just going to replenish off the back of this, and we are reset to a certain degree to the two-base macro mode.
Yeah, and their army value is so similar. They're both around 2,700 minerals, 1,400 gas. You look at the units lost at, Sokka lost just a little bit more, and so that means that Hasu did a pretty good job there. But note how pro it is. These guys, they both back off to a point where they don't definitively lose the game yet. In comes the second fight.
His Colossus were a little bit out of position there. Just blink forward to try and pick one or two off, and he does get them, trying to whittle down the Colossus count as best he possibly can do. But in that process, he sacrificed a lot of his ground army, not able to support his own Colossus, and Sokka is going to try and take advantage of that, blinking forward here, sniping out two of his opponent's Colossus as well. Trade for trade, ladies and gentlemen, and we're reset once again to a certain extent.
And look at Sokka now with the warping of 6 Stalkers on the left trying to catch Colossus off guard, but actually 6 Stalkers against 5 Colossus is not as good of a fight as you might expect.
At the same time, we have a few Zealots going to be ripping apart the mineral line of Soccer in his main, thanks to that warp in from the probe, the pylon, and the observer. And we do have, for now, Soccer, he's going to have to retreat back. I don't think he can really put on too much pressure with these Colossus, since he doesn't have that much ground armor to complement. And actually, Hasu has done quite a bit of damage in the main of Soccer.
Yeah, he killed anywhere from 5 to 7 probes or something like that. The probe count was quite equal, and now Hasselhoff is 10 probes ahead. That's a great move, and he waited with that warp in for a long time. He had that planned out. And now that he suddenly activated that move, it was the perfect time. Sokko was chasing, lost 6 Stalkers there, and then took a hit in the economy lead. And suddenly, what happened in a very equal game thus far, now has Hassel with a 20 supply lead.
And that's a really important aspect of this game, just in general. It's the Eye of Sauron, if I would like to make a Lord of the Rings reference. Drawing your opponent's eye away from where you're going to go for harassment, then bringing that enduring engagement. Very, very clever by Hasu from there on. And for now, he has +2 weapons on the way, so he's a whole upgrade ahead, essentially. Yeah, I mean, he has a big round.
Hasu is already 1-1.
Oh, he's got
armor
just
as well. 0-0. And Hasu is more ahead with his second attack upgrade.
And this is where Hasu thrives. I mean, being now sports myself as well, I've seen a lot of Hasu's replays in terms of PvP, and he is so comfortable in this situation, and his decision-making to go for that harassment as well has been very, very good. But that being said, Soke has been able to hold pretty well as well in terms of the engagement at the ramp. It was just, again, that little bit of harassment that really did move Hasu forwards in terms of this PvP.
Look at Hasu now putting up another pylon in that place there on the right side with that observer. Going to prepare more distractions there with more Zealot warp-ins. Now, of course, economy harassment is going to be increasingly less efficient as their main bases are actually about to run out.
That is very, very true, and it looks like Soccer actually wants to establish a 3rd base down to the bottom left-hand corner. Hasu right now, he does not have the minerals to be able to do so, but at the same time we'll bring forward here to be able to kill off the pylon, and as such, with that pylon, I mean, to reckon, because that's been killed off and his opponent has scouted out that position, that he knows that there's going to be an expansion going down, or?
Yeah, it might prompt Hasu to attack once again, because maybe Soccer was pooling resources, and it's just impressed me in this game how willing Hasu has been to attack in this matchup. You both know you have more or less the same army, and Hasu has just been attacking. Now going to move into a kind of a tight choke. I'm not sure if he should do that.
I like to blink and try and kill off that immortal. It did end up dying off the back of some of that splash from those Colossus, but again, got to be very, very careful in this situation. Now moves forward with this Colossus, very, very clumped up here as well, though, and he needs to be very careful, blinking forward. Soccer trying to snipe out a few of those Colossus, and this is very, very tense right now for Soccer.
It's a very tense situation for both players. I think Hasu feels like he has the better army, but he needs to somehow be able to bring that about. And it continues to poke in with his Immortals and Colossus, and has warped in a couple of Zealots behind there, but they will be cleared off by Soccer Stalkers. Soccer still keeping his head above the water, but he's 2 Colossus behind.
Yeah, and the real boon for Soccer here is the fact that he can establish a nice concave at the top of that ramp. Right now, Hasu very, very apprehensive about it moving in. Stalker's actually going for some harassment as well with his Zealots, and he's actually doing quite a bit of damage.
Yeah, it almost looks like Hasu is sometimes suddenly winning out here.
Yeah, I mean, back and forth. As right now, Soccer bringing back a few more units to be able to reinforce that. Doesn't want to take his whole army back, otherwise we would have the boom push from Hasu pushing in. But right now, Hasu's going to keep Soccer contained.
I think Hasu's going to take this moment to move in once again. He's got the Zealots here. Now, no Zealots for Soccer. His Colossus are dancing left and right, and Hasu has such a nice concave. Immediately takes down everything.
Oh my God, Hasu advances on to the finals of the German Nationals, ladies and gentlemen. And he is happy as anything.
He's happy as a happy duck in a beautiful pond. He is indeed. Great job. And that's such a big advantage. Look at how hard it is to win one PvP between 2 more or less equally skilled players.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, I would say equally, but of course Hasu just won, so that makes a strong case for that.
The harassment opportunities that we saw there from Hasu, drawing his opponent away for time and time again, able to do some economic damage a little bit as well there. And again, as you were saying, you know, it becomes less and less effective. So warping in huge amounts there, once establishing the fact that it's going to be less and less effective, drawing that away.
Using that suddenly to say, well, I'm going to keep warping in stuff. and maybe you'll bring more units than what I warp in there, and then eventually I'm going to use that to suddenly attack from the front when you don't expect it anymore.
Yeah.
It's like saying to your brother, I'm gonna scare you sometime in the future. You don't know when. It could be in a day, it could be in a week, and the fear of it coming makes you not sure when it's gonna come anymore. I have no real life experience with that at all. It's going to be hard now for Sokka. First of all, he has to try and beat whoever comes up through the loser bracket, be it Dark Force or Craft. That's one challenge they're definitely waiting for him. And then, if he would once again meet Hasselhoff, he would have to win 2 best of 3s in a PvP with all the mind games, with all the tricks that both players can do, and it's going to be twice as hard as just winning one.
Yes, yeah. It really, really is. Commiserations to Sokka, falling down to that loser's bracket. However, he does still have that chance. So he might make his way back to the winner's final, the final of the entire thing, and get his retribution on Hashi. That would be an interesting story to tell. But for now, that was a pretty cool PvP series. The third game, I liked it.
Yeah, very finger-licking good game. Next thing we're going to see is Dark Force versus Crash. I think first maybe we will have to post an interview with Zoe momentarily. But before that, it will be nice to outline where every player is at right now in the tournament. Hasselhoff, he's got a secured top 2 placement in this tournament. That means he already secured $3,000 of prize money. The total pool, $15,000. Very, very generous prize pool here by Blizzard. The first prize is $6,000 and a qualifying spot to the global tournament of the WCS. And every other 3 places here on the players that already have that top 4 will go qualify for the Europe regionals.
Yep, and again, ladies and gentlemen, this is not the only stop in the World Championship Series. We've already had the Spain Nationals, we've already had the Netherlands and Belgium Nationals. You know a little bit about the Netherlands Nationals. And we've already had things like the Italy Nationals, and after the Germany Nationals, we are going to be moving on to, I believe, the France Nationals and then the Combined European Nationals, which I believe we might be casting the Combined European Nationals, Mr. Grubby.
We might very well. When exactly is it going to be?
I can't remember the exact date. I think it's like the 23rd of June or something like that.
Yeah, I think so too. We got the post-game interview. I'm very curious to see